Become an advanced meditator, transmuting the dark feminine. So everything in the universe has its own torus field with the duality, south north, negative positive. And then if we take the example of one chakra, let's say we take the sacral, its own torus field, right? In front is the feminine, the back is the masculine. But each chakra has the dominant energies. The sacral is feminine and it's merging, matching with its opposite, which is the throat. Because the orange is primary color, opposite secondary color is the blue, and the throat is masculine. And that's how we dance here. We start finding our match, right? So if we take the root and everything below, it's linked to the divine feminine, and then we take the crown and everything above is the divine masculine, right? So we have the negative and the positive, the south, the north, right? So why do we say that the feminine is negative? The feminine has its own duality, feminine positive, but it is dominant negative. Exactly like I just explained with the example of the chakra. And then the above, the masculine, has his own dark side, his own light side, but has a dominant energy, positive, from all the white light that is coming above. And then below, it's all the dark light, right? The black light that is slowly turning into a dark red, menstruation red in the earth star, and then after that turning into the root chakra, right? The red color. So there's definitely a dark energy coming from below. And we can understand this also through the layers of Mother Earth. We're going to experience this in the reptilian vortex, where we go into the under earth and the layers in the under earth, and then we visit a big massive cave where there's a whole civilization of reptilian living there, right? So there's different layers of lower dimension, of negative dimension that are living under us, right? So that's how the universe is constructed. That's how we can understand it with our mind, but it's not exactly like this. So with that being said, I experienced at a Joe Spencer meditation retreat. For the first time when I went there, I experienced a very, very dark energy entering my body, and I was completely surprised by it. I was not expecting it. It came out of nowhere, and it came so fast. It moved through all my chakra, all the way to the throat, and then it felt like it choked me, like, and then I was about to physically die. I was afraid for my life, and I was like, "Wow, what just happened?" And it was so intense. The best way I can describe it was a fire destruction taking over my body, like I was possessed by a dark entity, but the darkest entity in the universe that was ready to kill me. And at that point, I had like a panic attack. My heartbeat was pumping super fast, and I had no clue what was happening. I never really heard of experiences like this before. And throughout this retreat, the first retreat, it came back over and over again. But then the moment I started feeling that destruction fire, I kept it down. I pushed it down. I pushed it down with big breath and then awareness. I kept it in my legs. I never really moved it up higher than my sacral solar plexus. And yes, I went through the depth of exploring this, and it's been more than 6 months now that I'm still exploring this concept of what exactly is this. And slowly, I started understanding this energy from a feminine that has been raped, or a feminine that lost her pure essence. It's a feminine that somehow, let's say, a feminine that got raped, and in that moment, like she's expressing her boundaries of like, no, she doesn't want that, but nothing that she can do can stop what's happening, right? And it's like almost like also child trafficking or Mother Earth, the way that we are treating her, right? We're uh, not respecting the feminine. And then this feminine that lived that kind of like event, and it can be the feminine as woman, but it can be a feminine bit it within us, or it can be any type of feminine energy, turn into that kind of rage, which is like anger that turned into bitterness, that turned into hatred, that turned into total rage, that just wants to destroy, that wants to kill everything. And eventually I stumbled on the archetype of Kali, the Indian goddess. And then I saw this image where she's literally holding the head of the masculine, cut her head, right? And that's what it felt. It felt like this feminine just wants to get her revenge, and then cut the head of men just to make feel men what it felt like losing that sense of like being hopeless or helpless, not able to express our boundaries and being respected in our pure essence. And um, from what I understood, I don't know the depth of the story of Kali, but from what I understood is it's just a story that explain the processes of enlightenment. Basically, to really feel the depth of our Kundalini awakening, the last layer of this ultimate Kundalini awakening is that destruction fire that we need to transmute into a golden honey light. The way we do this is that we need to bring a mature masculine from above, right? We bring him within, and then the moment that this fire destruction arrive in our legs, it's gonna enter our feet, go in our leg. We bring that white light, and then we are holding space for that dark feminine. And then that dark feminine, like anything in the universe, just wants to be seen, right? It just wants to be acknowledged. It just wants to be uh not felt like alone in her own struggle. So we need to bring a compassion, right? A nurturing love, and from the masculine, right? The masculine that understood what it did by creating this uh, matrix, right? Because the masculine is the architect in the Matrix, the movie. It's this white beard man in the white room, the architect that plan everything with numbers, mathematics. So it's like the fact that the sun is perfectly aligned with all the planet, the way they're spinning, it's like all the sacred geometry. And then the feminine is the oracle in the movie The Matrix. It's this archetype that knows about life, that knows with her intuition, that can see through the future. And then it's this dance in those two archetypes together. They need to always like negotiate. Like if the masculine is taking too much, then it's there's gonna be like a imbalance, right? So it's always like give and take, give and take, give and take. But somehow in that dance, the masculine at one point took too much and then raped the feminine, and then it turned into a dark feminine that then pushed back on the masculine. So it took me 6 months, like four retreat each time. Like this fire was coming in, and I was terrified each time. I asked everyone about it. No one really knew what was happening. I did a lot of research on the internet, and eventually, like I received a download that yeah, it's what I'm explaining now. And then I went into like a self ceremony where like I really talked to that energy. I talked to Kelly. I talked to the dark feminine, and I I really like asked for forgiveness. I hold space for the energy within, and I really felt that kind of like ease starting to move, and then that energy being transmuted. And I never had another experience again where I had to face that fire, or I don't. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know yet if I really assess fully that energy. So we'll see next time. For me, it's been happening at Joe Spencer retreat. I'm not been having those experiences by myself when I'm stayed at home. So that energy of Kali is not only dark, right? It's like that that dark feminine that went into the depth of our shadows builds so much strength. So there's so much positive from that dark feminine, right? So those are the traits here that we can see from Kali that is very, very similar to segment. And then there's some people that did the segment meditation that you're gonna do that told me that they received a download that segment was Kali, right? It's just segment took that archetype for the Indian culture. And then in my last retreat, someone shared me this image, which is a piece of art from Alex Gray, the psychedelic artist, and it's the whole enlightenment process. And if you zoom in here, just behind, you can see Kali with some kind of a knife ready to cut the throat of men, right? You can see her womb, right, with a tongue coming out. She's also holding a baby, a fetus coming out of her wound. She's taking her mouth out or her tongue out, right? It's like that energy of destruction. And then there's the whole process of transmutation of emotion, right? We can see all the main organs holding this, all our trauma. There's many, many different symbols here. There's the eye of awareness that can be used by the dark side, the Illuminati symbol, but it's also the eye of awareness of God, right? That see all from every perspective. And then there's the wings that build itself, and then it's the symbol of the two serpents, right, on the stick, the medicine symbol, the caduceus. So there's the whole process here. And then this image was coming with this, right? Where we can see that men going through the ultimate fire rebirth, where like you are giving away fully your physical body. You're giving away fully your human life, your ego, and then it's a total death of everything that you think that you know that you are and that what is the universe. And then there's it can be super intense to be able to really go through the depth of this. We need to overcome all our shadows, overcome all our desires. So basically me, what happened is like each time that fire energy started to rise, I had to process for 2 3 months after that all desires that has not been fulfilled in my life. And I had a lot of like super negative thought that were maybe thought from the collective. So I had like thought of killing others. I had thought of like really, really crazy things. And then we hear stories all the time of people having Kundalini psychosis because they're just not ready to the depth of this, right? But if you hear an enlightenment person talking about this experience, it's really like it's it's someone that goes to the depth, that goes to war with the darkest energy of the universe, that is able to face, in the video game, the ultimate monster, and then it's winning the all the levels of the video game. So behind, at the bottom of this image, it was written the text exactly of my own process of like exactly the overcoming of Kali energy, the destruction fire, and everything that I tried to figure out was explained there in that text. So, and I found this towards the end, like 6 months later. So you'll see here in the segment vortex, you might have a glimpse of that. Segment is a very, very, very tall being, maybe 50, 60 feet tall. She's way taller than all the other beings from Sirius. She's from Sirius. From my understanding, she's from the sixth density. She overcame the merging of the feminine, the masculine. She's unity. She's embodying the spectrum of all the dark side and the spectrum of all the light side. And then she's grace, beauty, strength, sensuality, raw sexuality, but also explosive fire energy that destroy, which is not aligned with the principle of unity and love. So she gives a sense of like, whoa, I don't want to fuck around with this energy, right? But if we are ready to work with her, it can be the most powerful thing to overcome all the depth of our shadows. And as I said earlier in the previous lessons, from my understanding right now, I think Samet is in the 6th density because I really feel that she's taller than all the other beings on Sirius, and then all the other beings, from my experience, were bowing at her like she was the queen of Sirius A, Sirius B together. And I'm sure there's other beings at her level, maybe like from the Egyptian deities that are living in Sirius, but that's my experience so far. And I wanted to share all this with you. And go ahead, have your own experience, explore, build your communion with the dark feminine, and build your own puzzle, right? That's what we're here for on Earth, to explore, assess, and try to figure out the depth of the universe. Thank you so much.